Which leads me to my next point here. I don't know how often you guys have talked about it. I haven't gotten the chance to, so I'm going to. I love the Eric Robinson contract extension.
Yeah.
Another underrated great signing by the Carolina Hurricanes. Eric Robinson sticks around, ends up being 4 years, $1.7 million average annual value. It's this. The irony is, it's what you just said. The Florida Panthers, one, playing your style, but it was obvious you need a little bit more talent within that style in order to be one of the last team standing or the last team standing. Eric Robinson is not the super stud that is gonna match up with an Alexander Barkov or a McDavid or anything like that. But he's a great value, and you can't go broke making a profit. Right? If you can continue if every dollar you spend is bringing back $2 in value, you will be a great team. The Athletic after this season put out a list. They used net rating and dollars spent and found the best 5 contracts on every team, just pure how much rating did you get for each dollar they got. Eric Robinson was the third best value on the team. Third best on the entire team. Gostisbehere was 1, Jarvis was 2, Eric Robinson was 3, and then tried and true familiar people, little Stahl Martinook, were 4 and 5 because they produced at a level that was above what their contract said. Now, he was making about $1 million this past year, produced 14 goals, 32 points, going up to 1.7. If you get just the same production, that continues to be great value. And here's the beauty in it as far as getting those studs that allow you to go win a cup. It's a win-win for player and team by giving each other the exact opposite thing. So Eric Robinson signing 4 years, $1.7 million gives the team all the flexibility in the world, and it gives the player all the stability they're looking for. It's quite literally the exact opposite. If the Canes had to play tomorrow, they have a complete roster.
Yeah.
They have every person accounted for, all 4 lines of forwards, three defensive pairings, and goalies. If they had to play tomorrow, they have a complete roster. So they are in absolute dire need of nothing. Right? How many teams right now, we'll use Dallas as an example, are out there and they're going like, well, they have 7 roster spots that are unaccounted for, and they have $5 million in cap space to fill it, and that just doesn't work out. So they have like absolute necessities. They have to make cap room, and they have to find cheap players. These are not hopes. These are not wishes. These are mandates. With Eric Robinson re-signing, the Canes have no mandates. They have no necessities. They have no requirements. What that means is whatever their super studs are available, that's where they can go. They don't have to, their path is much wider as far as how they get to their, big names that raises the ceiling. For Robinson, it gives them stability. And what I mean by that is financial stability. This is a 4-year, $5.7 million deal. His career earnings over the first 7 years of his deal have been 7.1. So he's, adding another 40% or whatever that is, 40-something percent of his career earnings guaranteed over the next 4 years. While trades and everything are possible, you would think that there's some stability in life planning for him. So in giving the team the ability to do darn near anything, it gives him the ability to make some plans. Right, the ability to put some money away or buy the house or whatever he's looking for, buy the bigger house, because now you've got a certain amount of money that is coming back. It was a true win-win, which doesn't actually happen that often in professional sports. Usually there's somebody trying to swindle somebody, and this looks like a true win-win, which leads me to my next point. What is your fantasy for the Carolina Hurricanes? What is your dream situation? And I ask that for this reason. My refrain, my chorus that I say every couple of days for the Carolina Hurricanes between now and July 1st, barring some kind of a massive trade before that, because July 1st is when free agency opens up, is everything is possible. Everything. and anything is possible. And from talking with fans, from talking with listeners, from talking with people around the office, everybody has their own little idea on what the Canes should do. I've said from the beginning, I'm making a Godfather offer for Jason Robertson. That's just my personal dream, right? It's my personal, I don't know if Eric Tulsky's going to do it, but my personal dream is I'm making a Godfather offer for Jason Robertson in the trade market and finding a way in free agency or smaller trades to fill the center spot. I know that my producer on the afternoon show, The Drive, Dennis Cox, is all about Tage Thompson. He is all about Tage Thompson. Some of you out there are Mitch Marner or bust, because why not, right? He's on the free agency market. Everybody, he's the crown jewel of the free agency market. Some of you are we need a right-handed defenseman, and I don't care how much it costs. I want the blue line to continue to be the strength. Some of you want a goalie. Right there, been talking about a goalie for how long? Right? Which is that Victoria?
I think it would be helpful.
So do you have a name that is on your vision board?
No, that's the problem.
Okay.
They don't make a lot of those.
That is very true. But I've seen some saying Jeremy Swayman, make a Godfather offer, go get him. Like everybody has their own little personal deal, which is cool because for the first time in a long time, they're all possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever the Canes want to be the top bidder for in a trade, they can be. They have young players. They have young players with NHL experience. They have prospects. They have draft picks. They have the cap space to eat a contract if they have to. They can be. Now, that'll come at the cost of something else, but there is no dream scenario that you have that is not within the realm of possibility. And the same is true in free agency. They got like roughly $27 million now after the Eric Robinson deal. They can, nobody's making $27 million average annual value. They can go be the lead bidder on anybody. So I thought it would be fun if I went ahead and did mine. This is if everything goes right. Every agent you call says, oh, thank goodness my client's interested. Every trade partner you call goes, all right, I think we can make this work. I'm not looking to swindle. I'm not looking to, my dream isn't I wake up and, you call up for McDavid and they go, oh, perfect. Do you have a third rounder you can send back? Like, it's not that. I try to keep them all within the realm of possibility. But at the same time, it all works out, right? So it is still a fantasy. Starting with what I said, Jason Robertson. Okay, my first move with my $27 million in cap space is go get Jason Robertson. The price, I'm going 2 first-round picks, Scott Morrow, additional picks, I don't know, thirds, fourths, throw a bouquet at them, and probably like a Carrier, something like that, because they just need cheap players that can play at the NHL level. Carrier, obviously cheaper, and Scott Morrow, dirt cheap. You get Jason Robertson back. Then I am throwing the bag at Mitch Marner. Because that move, Jason Robertson's not actually costing that much against the cap, and you save some money. So you're around $22 million in cap space still. Taking $14 million of that, 7 by 14, give me Mitch Marner. This is where you got to get creative. I'm going Puce Suter from Vancouver, free agent center. I went on what is it, AFY, whatever it is, the analytics site that tells you how much a contract is market value. So this is not me making up the contract. This is a free agent that the analytics tell me are there. 4-year, $4.8 million. For what at the time will be your second line center. You do need somebody to trade for Kotkaniemi, but here's the deal. I'm going Kotkaniemi and just give me something back as long as you take his full cap hit. I will take a 4th rounder as long as you take all $4.82 million off of our books. I don't want to buy him out. I don't want to eat $800,000 for however many years. I don't expect you to send back a legitimate prospect. Just give us something. I will give you Kotkaniemi. We need the cap space. Brings cap space up to around $8 million. Then I'm signing Nick Perbix. I don't think he's been signed yet. I did this a couple days ago. A right-handed defenseman out of Tampa Bay. Again, the online people tell me 3 years, $2.5 million. So we're back down to like $5 million roughly in cap. And here's the secret sauce. I don't think Buffalo is selling this offseason. They might sell Peterka. They might sell one and think they're going to shuffle things up and go on a run, right? They haven't been to the postseason in a century, so they want to try to beat that. But I think by the deadline, they will have stunk a bit, and they will realize that they probably should have sold in the offseason, and they'll get a little itchy on the trigger finger, and they'll be much more willing to talk. And that's where you go do whatever you got to do to trade for Tage Thompson. And you may have to include a player to get under the cap, somebody small, $1 million, something like Robinson level. But you can give up the picks because you got a bunch of them. You can give up the players. Maybe this is where Nadeau comes into play. And you bring back Tage Thompson. You find in the trade, or I don't know why, but I've been throwing this out there. You long-term IR somebody because apparently that's the cheat code to like not worrying about the cap.
It is.
I don't think you have to do that. They're going to be like $400,000 over, and if you can't find $400,000 somewhere, you trade for Tage Thompson. And here's what the playoff lines end up being. Okay, your first line is Aho, Robertson, Marner, which is a dramatic upgrade.
Yes. Your
second line is Thompson, Jarvis, Svechnikov, which is a dramatic upgrade. Third line remains kind of what I think is ideal. Stahl, Martinook with stankoven, which is great. And in a weird backhanded good part on that line, maybe his point production is a little bit lower. So when he's asking for that giant contract, it's a little bit less giant. Not that you would ever do that intentionally. And then Suter, who was your second line center, bumps down to your fourth line center. He has Blake on one side, depending on who you had to give up, either Carrier, Jankowski, Nadeau on the other side. You have Slavin, Walker as your top line, or as your top defensive pairing, Nikishin, Chatfield, Gostisbehere, Perbix, Freddie and Kochetkov in the net, with the understanding that the cap's going to go up another $9 or $10 million the following year, which is where you will hopefully put most of the Nikishin and Stankoven extensions. You can keep that group together for a nice period of time, and you go all out for the cup. I want to be clear on this. Everything I just said was really fun, really unlikely.
Right, unfortunately.
But the point is, it's possible.
Yeah.
So right now, like, this is the fun part of an offseason that most teams don't have every year, right? Most teams, it's like, all right, we got $10 million in cap space, but one of our best defensemen is a restricted free agent, or is an unrestricted free agent that we need to agree with before free agency. So really that $10 million in cap space is going to end up being $3.5 million, and we need to go find a second pairing defenseman. There goes the $3.5 million. The entire offseason which seemed exciting, is already spoken for. The Canes, I don't think people realize, made it to the Eastern Conference Final, being in what is like their secondary pieces. It's like they're a rebuilding team. It's like they're going out to draft a bunch of guys, sign a bunch of guys, and try to build from scratch, but they already have Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, Andrei Svechnikov, Jacob Slavin. They already have all these guys on long-term contracts. Not to mention the smaller long-term contracts for guys like Chatfield and Taylor Hall and guys that you just don't have to negotiate with now in the offseason. So right now, let your imagination run wild. This entire idea was sparked by I was on a podcast and we just started talking, and it became a lot of, it was very obvious that the two of us kind of had different ideal finishes. Like if we all drew up what I just drew up, we would have been different. But the more we talked, the more it was, I mean, they could do both.
Yeah.
They have the money to do what you want to do and what I want to do.
I love this flexibility.
And it became, maybe we're not thinking big enough, right? Because you think like, oh, you get Marner, which would take, actually a lot of the rumors coming out are he might take less years. It could be a 3-year deal rather than a 7-year deal. But it's going to take roughly $14 million a year to get him. It's almost like our brains are wired to think if you bring in somebody for $14 million, well, you're not doing anything else. That's got to be everything. But it's like, oh, well, no, actually, then you would still have $13 million in cap space, and you would still have a treasure trove of trade capital that if you wanted to spend, you could go add another big piece. which is why I'm big on the don't forget the center thing. Go do whatever you want with the flashy wingers. Go grab if you can find somebody that scores 40 goals a season, I'm with it. But also grab a center. Also grab somebody that's going to fill that hole, because right now it's fun times. It's fun times. Before July 1st, go as crazy as you want. Second Seinfeld reference. I've been using this as a way to say it. The Seinfeld finale was like an all-time disappointment. People hated it. So there you go. Spoiler alert
Worse
for
than
like
the
10
Sopranos?
years from now. Actually, I'll go similar. Sopranos is a similar deal. But the second to last episode, nobody had a problem with, right? The third to last episode, everybody liked. Fourth to last episode, nobody was complaining about.
Mm-hmm.
But the finales, we all write in our brain.
Yes.
Right? Oh, I hope these two get together and they end up married, and I hope that guy in The Sopranos, that guy gets whacked. In Seinfeld, I hope this character makes a return, right? I hope Newman's in it, and I hope there's soup involved, and I hope the ruffled shirt comes back, right? You do all of this hoping, so then when it doesn't happen exactly your way, you get real bummed about it. But the fun of the finale is the conversation ahead of time where you are planning out your perfect finale. Whatever you want is not going to happen. Not everything. Maybe one part of it. But whatever you want for the Canes free agency is not going to happen exactly. What I just said is not going to happen exactly. But maybe one thing will, and I will have had a really good time putting that together. If you made me pick, I hope it's Robertson. The Adam Gold Show, if you made me pick.
Right.
Like, oh, you got one part right. Which part did I get? Nick Perbix.
Hopefully that one. Yeah, exactly. No.
Never mind.